Today we're learning about a very special mitzvah, Mitzvahs Ahavas, that's in Sefer HaChinuch, it's Mitzvah Reish Mem Gimel, Mitzvahs Ahavas Yisroel. Now, I choose to talk about this mitzvah today because the yortzeit of Arizal, and Arizal was the one to say that before davening, say every morning, Areni Mekabel Olam, Mitzvah Ahavas L'Reacha Kamocha, before davening. Now, why it's so important to say before davening this Inyan L'choira? It's two mitzvahs. There's one mitzvah to love every Jew, the other mitzvah is to daven to Hashem. Ul'ovda b'chol avavchem, as avodah shebelev is a tefillah. So we'll see. Now, the first I'm going to read from what the Sefer HaChinuch write about this mitzvah. It says like this: Le'ev kalechad Yisrael avas nefesh. Kloimer, shenachmal al Yisrael v'al mamoinoi. K'mo she'odom chemel latz mamoinoi. You have to love him and his money, like you love yourself and your own money. Shnema v'ahavto l'reacha kamoichem. V'omru zechem v'bracha da'aloch snel l'chavrach lo sa'avet. That's what Hillel said to the ger. If you want to learn the whole Torah al regel achas, the Gemara in Shabbos daf lamed aleph, he told them, whatever you hate to be done to you, don't do to your friend. Soon we're going to see why Hillel spoke in a lashon shlila, in a negative way. Don't do something to someone else what you don't like to be done to you, because the pasuk speaks in a positive way. And even the Targum Onkelos in Aramaic also says in a positive way. But it doesn't say. Hillel used lashon shlila. We're going to see soon why. Now, what's so klal gadol in Avas Yisroel that it's like a general mitzvah, klal gadol b'Torah. It's not just a specific mitzvah. So soon we're going to see. Now, then it says like this: Shoyresh HaMitzvah Yedua ki k'mo she'asa hu b'chaveiroi ken yasa chaveiro bo. Normally it's work two-way avenue. If you love somebody in return, he loves you. V'zeh yesholem ben abriyas. Like says Shlomo HaMelech. What's the lashon over there by Shlomo HaMelech? Kimayim aponim leponim ken leva odom el odom. When you look at the water, today we'd be looking at the mirror, and you see over there your own image wherever you show in a mirror. Same thing, leva odokil. When you love somebody, his heart feels what you feel towards him, and in return, he shows you the same image. Then I'm skipping. I'm not doing everything. When the mitzvah b'chol mokim b'chol zman b'schorim and v'nekevus v'oiver olev lo nizer b'moman chaver l'shomroi v'chol sheken im hizik oiser b'moman otziaro b'shum davar v'daas bitel esezer. If you don't care for somebody else's property, you don't care for his honor, or you harm him in any shape and form, besides the specific mitzvah that you Aveira, you over also on Inan of Avas Yisroel. Okay, so first of all, is like this: why that Hillel, like I said, used the lashon shlila, the sonalach los avad lechavroch. So the Maharsha explained. He says the ikara mitzvah. He says of Avas Yisroel at b'derech shlila, meaning at least don't do something bad to him. Don't lose his property. Don't hurt him. But to give him, let's say you want to buy a car, you say, I love my friend like myself, I'll buy him also a car. No, that's not mechuyam. Chayecha koidman. At least the mitzvah, at least don't harm him. That's what the Maharsha explained. That's why the Hillel used this lashon, the son Allah lasavad lechavroch. At least don't do any harm to him. That's how you express your love. You care for his honor, you care for his property. So that's one thing. Now, the other Inyan is why this is such a mitzvah klolis that you have to, like Rabbi Akiva says, klal gadol b'Torah, and Hillel told the ger that want to learn the whole Torah regel achas. This is the mitzvah, and everything else as a pirushahu. What's up? So there's few inyanim over here. The Alter Rebbe in Igeres HaKodesh, in Igeres Choftes, he brings like this: Ach mudazat mashakosav Arizal, shekol odom Yisroel tzorich lovo begilgulim rabim. Everywhere have to come in many gilgulim, Ad sheyikayim kol tareg mitzvahs haTorah b'machshava dibur u'maisa. You have to do mekayim all the mitzvahs in the Torah. Lahashlim levushe nafshoy u'lesaknom shelo yeh levushe dechasra. When we do the mitzvahs, we're creating levushim. Through that levushim, we're able to nehena miziv hashchina over there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to tolerate the ziv hashchina that shines in Elam Haba. And in order to do the proper levushim, all the levushim, from all the mitzvahs, you have to come over here a few times till you do mekayim all the mitzvahs. In one Gilgal, some in that other mitzvahs, says, levad me mitzvahs atluyas b'melech, shu moitzes kol yisroel ki klolus kulam. Melech is the Neshama Klolis. His mitzvahs, you don't have to come by Gilgal. Not everyone can come by Gilgal to be a Melech. They can live forever and then to come. So that's, you don't have to come to be a Melech in Gilgal. The Melech moitzi his mitzvahs with everybody else. Yeah. והטעם הוא כדי להלביש כל תרי"ג בחינס וכוחו שבנפשו אחס ממנו לא נעדרו. So according to this, if we have to do all the mitzvahs, at some time, okay, the Melech is moitzi everybody else. What about Koyan, Levi, Machzer Grushosei? So according to this, we're never going to finish the Avodah. We have to come back and forth over here till we do all the Avodas. So when we're going to finish it? So there's one shortcut for this. That the shortcut is, it's also from brought from Arizal. When we have Avas Yisroel, Memele, we doing all the mitzvahs, we're sharing the mitzvahs. Like Kalal says, like Guf Echad. And that's what Arizal himself said in Lekutei Torah. He said that Mitzvahs Ahavas Ki Kol Yisrael Soid Guf Echad Shel Nishmas Odom Arishon. All the neshamas they used to be in Odom Arishon. He says, Kanoid Asher Etzem Bezoid Asher Sholat Es Asher Sholat Odom B'Odom V'chol Echad Mi'Yisrael Ever Proti. Every person is just one limb over here. So according to this, since we all, because if we really have Ahavas Yisroel, Memela, so when I do a mitzvah, it counts for you. When you do a mitzvah, it counts for me. And collectively, we do all the mitzvahs. And if you don't do the mitzvah collectively, that's what it says. You have to come in the Gilgal over and over until you do it yourself. And it's almost impossible mission. That's why it's so important, mitzvah klolis, Ahavas Yisroel, with that collectively, Makayim, the mitzvahs, maybe yortzeit, with that, in one Gilgal. And by the way, that's what he says also very important. That's also there's some exceptions to the rule. But according to Arizal, it's hardly any exception, because what's the exception? If somebody really is going against Hashem, you're allowed not to use Ahavas Yisroel towards him. But he says, if you arevim zeh b'zeh, when somebody else choita, you the choita too, because it's part of your body. So that's why he says Arizal used to say that the vidui says b'loshon rabim, because even if it's not shaykh to you, this avera, you still have to say it, because what someone else did, it's part of you. It's like one body. Yeah? That's why Ahavas Yisroel, it's a mitzvah klolis, because collectively we could do all the mitzvahs together. I heard many years ago from the Deja Rov, he was then in Muncie. I know he moved to Florida. I'm not sure if he's still around. If he is, he should be gesund and stark. So I heard a beautiful word from him. It's a posuk in Zechariah Ches posuk Yud. It's like this: V'la yortzeit v'la bo and shalom. That's the posuk. Meaning, it's gonna. There was a time that was not good. People, there was no peace over there. You couldn't go in and out of the house. V'la yortzeit v'la bo and shalom. So it says, according to this Arizal, he says, since every neshama have to come in Gilgal to Masaken, all his whatever he needs to Masaken in many lives to do what he needs to do in one life. So he says that only if he doesn't have Ahavas Yisroel. That's the pshat. When there's no v'la yortzeit v'la bo, meaning a la yortzeit min ha'olam hazeh v'la bo, it comes back in Gilgal. The reason he does that, he come back in Gilgulim, he says, and shalom. Because there's no peace. It would be Ahavas Yisroel, it would be shalom. He wouldn't be yortzeit v'la bo. He would be masakin himself and it's done. Because if he's part of Arabos of Klolis, he did the mitzvahs through others. But the reason it's yortzeit v'la bo, people go out from the world and come back and Gilgulim, because it says, and Shalom. There is also a beautiful Gemara, and the Ilana Dechai explained. It says the Gemara in Chagiga, there's 3 simanim to a shoita. 3 simanim. One of them, it says the shoita alone beves hakvaros. He sleeps in the cemeteries. The Chayra, we never heard the biggest shoitim. I don't know, the people going sleeping in cemeteries. Who would do that? That's like among the shoitim will be a big shoitim. Why will you go sleep in the cemetery? So he explained that Elon Dechai, he explains over there, like the Land of Besakvaras, he says, when a person comes to this world, after his 120, he dies, and let's say he died over here in Michigan, and they buried him in Gresham over there. They buried him, okay? Then they send him again. This time the neshama came down in Europe, and he lived his 120 years in Europe. Then he has over there in a Beis HaChaim in Europe, he has another stone over there for him. The same neshama was lived one time in that one. Then he came again, he was dropped in Russia this time. And he has, after 120, he has a stone in Russia, and so on, so in the whole world, he has a stone, the same neshama. So he says, this is a shoita. You have every Beis HaKvaros in the world. You have your stone over there. You have your Beis HaKvaros. You're buried over there. What's the shoita? If you'd be a chacham, you would have Avas Yisroel, and you would masakin yourself in one Gilgal, and you would do collectively together with all the mitzvahs. You would not have one Beis HaKvaros. You would not be sleeping in all the Beis HaKvaros. So he says, so that's the inyan of it's a mitzvah klolos, because with that we could masakin all the mitzvahs. Now there is. Just like yesterday we brought the in of noikim v'noiter, there's certain things, the way you look at things makes easier. It's a mitzvah that's very difficult to say, not to be noikim and noiter. It's a teva ha'odom. He wants a revenge. He wants he has sometimes ill feelings against somebody. Obviously, also it's very difficult. How could you love somebody like yourself? You close to yourself. Adam korovas etzel atzma. How could I love him like I love myself and care for him like I care for myself? So there is few things of it. Hey, the Minchas Chinuch brings like this. He doesn't speak about this mitzvah, but he says like this: Vashem Yisborach, the end of that mitzvah. That's how we conclude. Vashem Yisborach Yosem Chelkenu Minao Yohavim Oisoi Ve'es Yisroel. We should love Hashem. Should give us. We should have the schus to love Him and to love the Jews. The Kutshabruchu VeYisrael Chodu Ayin B'Sifrei Musa. Meaning, if first of all, if you're aware, I have to love Hashem. That's for sure. Mela, if you don't love His kids, so it's one. Yisrael Kul Echad. So also, one more thing is from the Orachaim HaKodesh over. The Orachaim HaKodesh says in Parshas Shoiftim, he says like this. He says something amazing. He says like this. V'tiyah Shmira v'asiya, that's the preparation before Yemoi HaMashiach. That's what he talks about over there. Me'ahavas Hashem v'lo miyira. Can you imagine that today? And all the resumes, so you're going to find out about the person you ask, he has Yireh Shamayim. Nobody asks if he has Avas Hashem. Nobody asks this guy. Yireh Shamayim. He says, Adarab, if the avodah will be me'ava v'lo miyira, hadoira hu. Asher Yamod Bezeh B'Yomov. That means they're going to serve Hashem from Ahava. Yokim Hashem Dvora Atov Loses Kol Asor Amamin. Meaning we got 7 Amamin. Losid Lovo we get another 3. Total of Esther Amamin. Says when we're going to that Haftocha that we get all the Asor Amamin, we're going to inherit it. When we're going to serve Hashem Ahava. V'Yamid B'Yad Yisrael Kol Atov Sheftech Lasos Lo'ovos B'Yom Omdom B'Tchiyah. V'Rabosenu Zal He'ir Shegula Asida Tluya Ba'avodas Hashem Me'ahava Davke. He bases on Masechet Sanhedrin over there, without getting into it. But the Iker Avodah. Oh, so what's what Avodas Hashem Me'ahava? Like the Minchas Chinuch mentioned the Zohar, Yisroel v'Arizal v'Kuchul Kul Echad. There's no such ayat to say somebody Oyev Hashem and not Oyev Yisroel. That's all one thing. Torah, Yisroel, Hashem. If somebody is a Soina Yisrael, God forbid, I'm not talking about Anochri, hate Soina Yisrael, somebody, for whatever reason you have, there's no good excuse to hate somebody, you Soina Hashem. This is Bavas Eila Shel Hashem, Klal Yisrael. This is the ball of his eye, so how could you hate another Eid? So, says but the main avodah right now, it should be Mitzvahs Ahavas. Okay, just one more thing from the Alter Rebbe to make it easier that to serve Hashem me'ahava. It's in Perek Lamed Beis. It's a good Perek to go. It's Perek of Ahavas Yisroel. But just, he says like this. It's mamish close to what we said yesterday from the Rambam, Gaba Mitzvahs of Nekima. Says if you look, the world is shtusim va'avolim. That's what the Rambam brought. It's very similar to that idea. So if somebody did something wrong to you, look at it, it's a small thing. I don't care. Move on. Don't something over here. If you looked at the Olam Hazeh and Gufa and Nivza and Nimas Ben, it's not the main thing. It's not Chaya Guf. Rak simchosatin siyam simchas hanefesh. What really matters to you, that your neshama levado areza derech sheva kala lova and lekiyum mitzvahs ve'ahavta l'recha kamel chol nefesh meisol lemigol v'at kotam. Why? Meaning by do the guf is not the main thing. It's a kli for your neshama. It says the main thing is the neshama. When you look at another Eid, do you know what kind of neshama he has? Guf, who cares what the bevchinas guf? The neshama, we don't know. He says ki miyadek gdoloson ma'aloson b'shoshen mekon be'elokim chayim. Then he goes, move on. Then it's like this. Ki yisoid v'shoresh kol ha'torah u'la'gbia. Now he explains another reason why the Ahavas Yisroel at mitzvah klolis. It says the yisoid v'shoresh kol ha'torah. All the mitzvahs is the idea is lahagbia hanefesh ala guf. You take the gashmius and you elevate it. You take the behema, you bring a korban out of it. You take the dover gashmi, the tefillah made out of behema, you make a mitzvah out of it. So you ma'ala the behema, you ma'ala the world, you ma'ala yourself. The whole idea of all the mitzvahs says la lalas hanefesh ala guf ma'ila adi korah v'shosha d'chol almin. V'gam la'amshich oiren tzev baruch hu b'knesset Yisrael. And he says like this. So the idea is to elevate the guf to a higher level and to bring down elakus, like sending Matan Torah, Vayered Havaya Lar Sinai, came down to us. He says, and that could happen when you bring elakus down. He says, davke when we're all like one. It matters to all the mitzvahs. When we have a pirud, the kuchobrichu lo shario ba'asar pogim. Hashem does not dwell in a place when there is pagam, when there is damage, there is broken. When we broken, our system is broken. We don't have Ahavas, it's a broken system. Hashem doesn't come there. When we have bracha from Hashem kulonu ke'echad bor panecha. So that's why the Ahavas Yisroel, it's a mitzvah klolis. That's why Arizal says before davening, say ve'ahavta l're'acha kamocha. You want the davening to be accepted. You want Hashem to come, shoyra in that davening, and you should elevate your guf, your guf to higher level. You have to have Ahavas. Without Ahavas Yisroel, there's no God over there. Hashem doesn't come there when there is a sinner and period. That's why Arizal was very, very makpid. He was the one instituted before davening to say, and he becomes after because without this, the whole shoyra kol ha'torah kulo, without this, the davening would not go up. Okay.